Blender released their 2026 roadmap, Cinema 4D gets a scene node power-up, and Adobe kills Adobe Animate, then brings it back to life. It's Motion Mondays. Let's go and check in and see how everyone's taking that Adobe Animate news.
I had finally snapped. My brain was on fire. I was having an aneurysm, an out-of-body experience, watching myself, shaking and desperate and screaming. Why? Why are you doing this to me? Adobe.
Blender Foundation just announced their 2026 roadmap, and that Blender 5.1 is coming in March. The big highlights are Eevee Next improvements with better planar reflections and support for glossy reflection and refraction. The goal is basically to bring Eevee back to feature parity with builds prior to Eevee Next. Cycles is also getting a new open PBR node and a texture cache, which was heavily requested. There's also a new online asset library coming based on the Blender extensions platform, so you can access stock assets and materials directly inside the asset browser. Animation layers are going to be added for non-destructive animation, and the NPR rendering project, which was teased last year in collaboration with Dylan Goose Studios, is now ready for development. Hair dynamics is getting improved by being based off of a geometry node-based system, and they are even starting an Android port with touch support to go along with the Blender for iPad that was announced last year. To check out all the things that are coming up, be sure to check out the full 2026 roadmap on the Blender Foundation website. Link will be in the description. Cinema 4D is getting a new scene node asset pack from Dominant Druckli, version 2 of the Druckli Tools. He just released a whole YouTube series introducing this asset library for Cinema 4D, which is all based on scene nodes. Now this is cool because I feel like when Maxon released Cinema 4D scene nodes, didn't really feel like anyone had any idea to figure out what it's actually capable of, and this is a great little example of what it can do. So it's compatible with Cinema 4D 2026 and up, has loads of fun selections and visualizers, modifiers and nodes, generators like stitching and split spline mask, and distributions that allow for fun brushstroke effects. So definitely check it out over on Gumroad if you want to learn more and grab it for yourself. Now on to some School of Motion news. We have a new workshop this Thursday with director and animator Kaho Yoshida talking about her stop motion and mixed media workflow. So some handmade motion design. And we're also super excited about our new courses coming down the line. First up, Substance Painter for Motion Designers, taught by yours truly, launching in just a couple weeks. I'm also outlining a Cinema 4D Workflows course right now. Pair that with some new Blender courses and a Cavalry course, and you got yourself a lot of awesome courses coming at you soon. As always, you can check out our Coming Soon page to learn all about what's happening here at School of Motion. What courses are you looking forward to? Let us know in the comments. New year, new lineup of motion design conferences for 2026. You have OFF Barcelona happening April 16th through 18th, FITC in Toronto, April 27th through 28th. Then you have NAB show April 18th through 22nd. By the way, we're going to have more information about the NAB MoGraph meetup that we host coming out soon, and Camp MoGraph is coming to Colorado here in my little home state, September 24th to 28th. Tickets will be going on sale soon. And yours truly is speaking at Making Midwest 2026, which is happening on June 27th in Columbus, Ohio, with Andy J. Pizza. I'm such a huge fan of his. It's going to be good to see the Midwest getting some love, but needless to say, there is quite the plethora of conferences coming at you this year, and we're going to leave links to all of them in the description below so you can find out more. Houdini is getting a new liquid solver called Paradigm, built by Theory Accelerated, the Axiom folk. So it's a free open beta that's fully GPU based using a flip solver. Basically aims to replace or kind of complement Houdini's built-in fluid effects tools for liquid sims. And because it uses OpenCL and not CUDA, it's hardware agnostic, so it works on anything including Apple Silicon. So it looks like huge speed gains, be able to iterate really easily. They got their free open beta available through the end of this month, so if you're into liquids and Houdini, go on and check it out. So last week, Adobe announced Adobe Animate was dead, got massive backlash, and then reverse course all within 24 hours. So for context, Adobe Animate is the successor to the beloved Macromedia Flash. It's been used on huge animated shows like Teen Titans Go, Smiling Friends, and a ton of other productions. So when Adobe announced they were killing it, animation studios kind of freaked out. Now, Adobe clarified that Animate isn't going anywhere, it's just going into maintenance mode, meaning they'll provide ongoing security and bug fixes, but no new features. So this should be having a lot of people asking though, like, should you stick with Adobe Animate when a company can just pull the rug out from under you? Now, there are a lot of alternatives that people are now throwing out, like Toon Boom, which is $100 a month, which is not cheap. You got Moho, which is trying to take advantage of this by doing a $100 off sale. And many Blender users are quick to point out how Grease Pencil is actually a great free and open source alternative. Now, I know I'd be very concerned if Adobe announced that, hey, they were discontinuing After Effects, and I'd really have to wonder, like, what is the future of this tool that I'm making a living off of? So I'd be interested to hear if you're using Adobe Animate, like, what are you planning on doing? Let us know in the comments. Now on to some cool works from around the interwebs. The Motionographer Motion Awards 2025 were just announced, and one of the pieces we really loved was Coffee and TV's Lions Tour 2025 campaign that's blending Indigenous Australian art with VFX. And central to it is Constantina, an Indigenous artist from the Gadigal people whose bold brushwork and dot painting shaped the visual style. Next up is some work from Imaginary Forces, who absolutely killed it with the Percy Jackson Season 2 title sequence. It's really an example of amazing design with simple animation that holds up because it's leaning on that amazing design. Really dig that like fresco look as well. And lastly, Studio Nuts from Korea did this killer House of Trickery piece for K-pop band, mixing tactile claymation with a lot of really cool 2D elements. I really enjoyed how they kind of blended everything together. I really love the stylization of the characters and all those elements there. You can find the links to all the work that we featured in the description below. Now, is 2D to 3D AI actually usable? That's exactly the question that Friends of Motion asked in a great video on their YouTube that tested some of the AI 2D to 3D model tools. They tested Microsoft Trellis, Hunyuan 3D, Rodin via Eevee, and Tripo 3D, comparing quads topology, and most importantly, pricing. These things aren't free. Now, the main takeaway was that while these tools aren't precise, they're still actually good enough for style frames, concept exploration, and pitching, especially for people who aren't great at modeling. Raising my hand here. You can see that UV maps can sometimes be all over the place, but one of the things that these tools can do is support what you're doing. But right now, at least, it can't replace what you're good at. So knowing how to fix topology in Cinema 4D or Blender, or fixing textures in Substance Painter, it's all where you can really lean in and have AI as the tool, and as tools, they're best used by artists with taste and vision. Runway just announced Image to Video 4.5, and they claim it's like Nano Banana but for video. So you can generate longer videos with more precise camera controls, coherent narratives, and the biggie, characters that can stay consistent across shots, which is always a big issue with a lot of these models. So they say that the camera moves actually obey, and the action reads really well, and claiming that it basically can turn you into a director. So of course, the previews and the demo look amazing, but it remains to be seen if it actually is that amazing in practice. And you can go and try it for yourself. Gen 4.5 is available for everyone with a paid plan. Now, one of my favorite tools for mood boards, PureRef 2.1, just got released. Basically allows you to add images to your screen, have it hover over whatever app you're using, and say you're in ZBrush, which doesn't have great reference tools. Now you can just dock PureRef as an overlay onto your UI and just start sculpting away. So version 2.1 adds shapes where you can draw circles, squares, straight lines. They also added background grids, which is super handy, recent files, and support for 6 new languages. PureRef is free, so go grab it if you find yourself using image references, which you probably should be. Now on to our student of the week, Derek Edamura from Seattle, a documentary filmmaker who took MoGraph Mania and created this awesome piece. So Derek said that MoGraph Mania was incredibly helpful getting comfortable with integrating MoGraph files into their commercial workflow, and they've already begun replacing repetitive motion graphics tasks with MoGraph workflow. So another person who has seen the MoGraph light. You can check out more of Derek's work at maroproductions.com. Congrats on being featured. Figma had a big announcement last week where they announced the aptly named Vectorize. It basically vectorizes images inside of Figma. With it, you can convert raster images and sketches into vectors, control outputs and change colors. You can resize things, animate however you want, and it seamlessly integrates into Figma Design and Figma Draw. It is AI-powered vectorization, so it consumes those AI credits, so be aware of that. Vectorize is available on all paid Figma plans with AI enabled. One of the biggest 3D challenges on the internet is back, baby. Clinton Jones, aka Pwnisher, announced that the 3D Dream Sequence Challenge is where you're going to have to create beat-synced visuals using provided templates and free assets. You got to get it done all by March 1st. So first place gets an all-expenses-paid trip to Camp MoGraph, an XP Pen Artist 24 tablet, a full Rococo performance capture bundle, and much more. Seems like a lot of great stuff, a lot of great incentives there. You can check out his video for all the rules and how to enter. And lastly, the 2025 Motion Design Industry Survey from Dash Studio just dropped, and you can download it for free by just entering your contact information. The big takeaways here, for most, 2025 was an average year financially, and the biggest challenges were shrinking budgets, uncertainty, and AI, which I think are kind of all in one. Social media projects dominated, event graphics are becoming more of a thing as people get out, do more events. Most people are excited about learning new skills and business growth, and hey, I think I know a place called School of Motion that can help you with that. The founder of Dash Mac, though, shared his optimistic take that 2026 is going to be the year of good creative as AI slop novelty wears off. He thinks that artists will cut through the slop and work with brands to tell stories that stand out by creating original content. Now, how about we end on that high note there? That's it for this week's Motion Mondays. Be sure to stay tuned for our stop motion workshop this Thursday and our new Substance Painter course coming out later this month. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great week.